everyone? We're here to talk real tractor pulling again this week from 50 years ago, back when men were men and tractors were actually tractors. Even the modifieds were tractors back then. And sleds were actually weight transfer machines and not something that'll just give you a free ride for 275 feet till the pan drops. It was real pulling, the kind we like, done by real men on real tractors. Let's get a report from the Indy Super Pull. The Indy Super Pull of 1974. We'll be looking at Indy Super Pull coverage from the April 1974 Puller magazine. 160 pulling entries competed for over $50,000 in purse and prize money at the 1974 Indy Super Pull, held at the Indiana State Fairgrounds Coliseum, Indianapolis, Indiana, on February 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Over 34,000 people witnessed the competition for over $6,000 per class. The pull, sponsored by Golden Harvest Seed Company of Bloomington, Illinois, left no one disappointed at the end. The Coliseum was connected to an enclosed passageway to the pit area, and the pits were roped off. Many pullers decorated their pit area for judging. First place for best-looking display went to the Little American, owned by Jim Wilson of Greenville, Ohio. Second place was awarded to the Wayne Patchett family, owners of Black Beauty. And third was given to John Hedges of Greens Fork, Indiana. Well, the big show got underway on Friday night at 7 p.m. The 5,000-pound superstockers jumped around the track. But out of 20 pullers, Kimber Wilson of Smithfield, Illinois, drove his Farmall 460 to 193 feet 10 inches. He picked up $1,500 for his pulling effort, but not without a tussle. After the top finishers had full pulls, Kimber outdistanced second placer Larry Douglas of Dallas City, Illinois, by 20 feet in the pull-off. By the time the 9,000-pound modifieds were ready to pull, everyone was saying that the Indy track was one of the finest ever constructed. The 18 inches of clay held up extremely well under competition stress throughout the long weekend. Bob Bend of the Allison team powered his Minneapolis Moline UB Allison to the 195-foot 5-inch mark for first place. Joe Titchener, Fairfield, Kentucky, finished 2 inches short with his F30 427 Chevy. Wayne Patchett's Massey 55 427 blown Chevy hung together and screamed to 193 feet 6 inches. Carl Bossy took his 12,000-pound unlimited special 4-engine W9 to fourth place, finding out that his tractor doesn't always take first place. Chuck Wheatley finished 2.5 inches behind Carl at 177.2. Then came the 9,000-pound superstock class. The top 4 spots were a green sweep, as John Deere captured the top 4 spots. Illinois captured the top 5, as pullers from the state of Illinois topped out the class. Harold McQueen was first with his 4230. Then 3 4430s followed in a row. Ron Howe, Don Eldert, and Reuben Tingley. Andy Main was the only non-green tractor in the top 5, finished 5th with his 1370 case. A Saturday afternoon crowd of 10,000 saw Jim Miller of Bellevue, Ohio, drive his corn and soybean special Oliver 88 427 Chevy, make the only full pull in the 5,000-pound modified class. Nearest competitor was Paul Bossy of Ada, Ohio, at 239 feet 9 inches, with an International M460 Lincoln. Kenny Moore and James Taylor tied at 203 feet 4 inches. So they had a fourth place pull-off. Kenny from Georgetown, Pennsylvania, driving his cockshut 4427 Chevy, won with a distance of 2071. Jim ended up fifth in his massive 454 Chevy at 191 feet even. Jim is from Frankfort, Indiana. Saturday evening proved to be an exciting night as the 7,000-pound modified ended up with a 5-way pull-off. Vern Miller, Manheim, Pennsylvania, driving his twin 440 Dodges in a cockshut frame, was the eventual winner. Don Newcomb of Cissna Park, Illinois, on a massive 55 482 Chevy, lost by only 3.5 feet to Miller. It was Vern's first national win. Miller's hot Dodges have been blistering the national tracks lately and is improving with each pull. In the 12,000-pound Superstock, Andy Main had his first narrow win of the season, beating Harold McQueen's John Deere 4230 by 3 inches, followed by Dick Obermeyer's Case 1370, John Klug's 1066, and Ed Carmichael's IH 1466. Only 4.5 feet separated the first 5 places. Over 18,000 people filled the Coliseum on Saturday alone. Indiana State Fair officials said they had never seen anything like it. Everyone knew that this certainly was an exciting weekend. Orrin Wright, the president of Indiana State Fair, announced that plans were already underway for next year, with even more money added for the purse. Sunday dawned clear and cold, but pulling was definitely hot inside the Coliseum as tractors lined up for some of the warmest competition ever. The 7,000-pound Superstock had a go at it, but it was really no contest after Gerald Weaver of Richwood, Ohio, in his John Deere 4010 pulled 222 feet 9 inches. No one came close to Gerald except Danny Bobb and Tommy Casting, who were each 15 feet shy of Weaver. Gerald went home $1,700 richer. In the 12,000-pound unlimited class, everyone was on the edge of their seats. Bob Bend of the Allison team hooked up and roared with the sled all the way to the end. But when he stopped, the weight box jumped a couple of chain links, and there was an immediate time out for repairs. The Northwest Ohio sled, which had performed well all weekend, finally said, "Wait a minute," while it caught its breath. But the sled operators finished and got it fixed in minimal time. Ralph Chamberlain, driving the honker, really thought he had the Class 1 at 194 feet 5. But after Carl Bossy hooked on and began moving, Ralph started shaking his head. It's going to be tough to beat Carl all year, at least in the 12 Unlimited. Carl's winning distance was 203 feet 9 inches. After him followed Chamberlain, Gerds, Keck, and Hoffman, and Bend. Some interesting notes on the event. 2 Indianapolis 500 drivers came and watched with awe. Jim Hertzby and Bruce Walkup. Walkup is from St. Paul, Indiana, and Hertzby hails from near Indianapolis. Ed Johnson and partner Dave Branham announced the pull and were hoarse after 3 days of straight talk and a lot of bull. Everybody's looking forward to Indy Super Pull 75. To me, that's real pulling. That's where it's at. Great competition, a good show. Get to see competition, man and machine, human ingenuity. Back then you could buy a military surplus Allison aircraft engine or a Continental tank engine for $300. Throw it on Grandpa's old tractor out the fence row and be a national champion. Better times. More fun, as far as I'm concerned, yeah.